Hi and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review on our Bosch dishwasher. This dishwasher is the 500 series. It's similar to the other series Bosch dishwashers, except this one just happened to be a better deal at the time. They had a bigger sale going on this model. And I'll tell you a little bit about this model that's a little bit different than the others. So let's start by opening the door here. So one thing I really like about it is it has a real nice solid click when you close the door. There's no question that you close the door properly and risk any leaking. The other thing I do like is the fact that it's very sleek looking on the outside with a nice towel bar on it. So on top here is where you have all your controls. So they are touch control, which is not my favorite thing in the world, but this doesn't bother me too much because there's really not much that I ever have to do with this. Simply turn it on and then usually just start it. We usually keep it on the speed 60 setting. That seems to wash the dishes, just fine, and it does it much quicker than the other cycles. Now, if we ever had something that was really a mess, we could probably use some of these other cycles like heavy or so. But we have had really good success just using this shortest cycle. This also tells you right here that whichever cycle you selected, how long it's going to take. So the speed 60 is less than 2 hours. If you pick normal, you can see that's greater than 2 hours. Auto is also greater than 2 hours. So they're all greater than 2 hours, really, except for the speed 60. I don't know what would be less than 1 hour. Not really sure on that. But I can't seem to get that below the 2 hours. I always have it on auto air. Oh, if you don't have it on auto air, I guess it goes less than an hour because it just doesn't really dry your dishes. I like to have it on auto air so at least the dishes come out fairly dry, except for, obviously, any major pooling on the dishes. Otherwise, the dishes come out pretty dry usually. The other reason they come out pretty dry is that when the cycle is done, so as soon as the cycle's done, it plays a sound, then it pops the door open like that, which allows the steam to escape. It allows for ventilation. It helps dry the dishes. So I really do like that. Now, there's a couple other things on here that I want to talk about. One, you probably saw it already. You can see it says Wi-Fi there. So you can connect this dishwasher to your Wi-Fi and then access it with the Home Connect app. When you do that, you have additional functionality. And I'm going to go through that app here shortly after we're done looking at the dishwasher. Another thing I want to point out is the fact that it is a 44 decibel dishwasher. That's how loud it is when it's running. To be completely honest with you, I don't even hear this thing when it's running. As a matter of fact, when it is running, there'll be a little red light that shines down on the floor to tell you it's running. If I don't look at that light, sometimes I'll just open the door while it's running because I forgot I started it, and I interrupt it mid-cycle. So I have to say this is an extremely quiet dishwasher. So a little bit more about the inside of it here. So this is what the bottom rack looks like. It's your typical bottom rack. You have your silverware container here that you can remove for easy emptying. It has the separators for your silverware. You can choose to use all that or not if you want. It has a couple of tip-up dividers here. Depending on how you use your dishwasher, you may want to tip those up for certain applications. So that's what the bottom looks like. The middle rack is pretty typical of most dishwashers. It also has a couple of tipping racks here, so you can decide if you want those or not. There's a couple more over here on this side. I think these are somehow used for wine glasses, it looks like. There's a little picture of a wine glass there. We don't use that, so we just leave those down. And then there's the upper rack. There's the third rack. So this is nice for putting just very low profile things on it. And you can adjust the side. You can decide if you want this up higher or lower depending on what you're putting in there. So that's another adjustment that you can do. I want to show you this here. This is where you put your detergent. So you just put that in there and you close that down. If you need to reopen it, push that button and it opens up again. This is where the rinse aid goes. So what's nice, when you have this connected to the app, you get a notification on your phone when the rinse aid is low. Another thing that you get notified on your app is when you load into the app how many pods you have, and when you start getting low on pods, because it then will remember each time you do a wash, it'll count down your pods, and when your pods get low, it'll give you a reminder. So you don't have any reason to ever run out of pods. If you look in here, you can see the filter system. It's very easy to clean this filter system. So you can just rotate that gray part, pull that out, clean it all up, and put it all back together. So very simple to clean the filter system, which I like. So that's about it as far as the internals of this dishwasher. Now I want to show you a little bit about how the app works for operating this dishwasher. It has quite a bit of functionality here. So you can actually start the dishwasher remotely if you wanted to. And you would do that by turning it on and then running the program. I don't typically do that. I usually run it, in person. So I'm going to turn that power of it off there. But this is where you go in and say how many tablets you have left. So you enter in how many tablets you currently have, and then you say okay, and every time you run the dishwasher, it'll deduct one tablet. So it'll keep track of that. In this case, when I get down to 5, it'll let me know. Here is favorites. So you can create your own favorites here if you want to, or you can just set a couple of favorites that you can pick from. I don't really do that. We're pretty basic users of the dishwasher, but this is where you would go in and set your favorites. When you select control here, this is where you could just manually set one up and hit start, doing it remotely. There is this, what's called Smart Cycle. And what this does is you tell it exactly what you're going to be washing. Say you have plates and bowls and drinking glasses and cutlery. Go to the next and you say they're about medium dirty. Next. And then you set your priorities. So my first priority is I want them to come out clean. I want them to come out dry. I would like it to be efficient. And those are the priorities. The rest I really don't care as much about. So here, it shows you what your customized cycle would be. It's going to run the auto air at the end to dry them. It's going to heat the water to 140 degrees. It's going to run for 3 hours and 5 minutes. This is how much water and energy it's going to use. And you can now set that as a favorite so that every time you have that type of stuff in there, you could just run it. I don't use this. Maybe I should. It sounds interesting. But like I said earlier, the favorite, or not our favorite setting is the 60-minute setting. Let's see where that is here. Speed 60. That one has always cleaned our dishes properly. So I don't really see the need to go into these longer programs under normal conditions. So a little bit more I want to show you about statistics. You can go in there and see how much. So last month, this was a full month. We ran 13 cycles, on average, about 3.8 gallons per cycle, and 0.7 kilowatt hours per cycle. So this is just good information to know how efficient or how inefficient dishwashers actually are. And they're pretty efficient, honestly. That won't even cost 10 cents in electricity to run the dishwasher. So that's that. And then one other thing is the My Schedule. So you can set this up to run on a particular schedule. And I haven't gone through this to do it all, but this is something that could be useful to you if you wanted to run at a certain time of day. Let's go to the settings. And there's a few things in here I wanted to show you. You can change the sound, how loud you want it to be when you push the buttons or when it gets done. You can turn on like an intensive dry, which I did here. You can tell it how much rinse aid to use on each cycle. You can adjust the sensor settings. So if you're using one of the automatic wash, you can set how sensitive the sensor is. And that's about it. This is just your technical information in case you need to contact technical support or something. So that's pretty much a wrap on the app. You can see the user's manual here if you need to, or contact customer service. But otherwise, you know, it does quite a few things. I think it does every bit as much as you could expect it to do. The other thing that's nice is if you have notifications turned on, it'll send you a notification when a cycle is complete. So you know it's ready and you can go and empty it. So in any case, thanks for watching this video. Please leave a comment, give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.